There's a stretch of land between Charleston and Savannah where the tides move slow, but the stories run deep. They call it the Lowcountry, and this is Lowcountry Unscripted. We're not here for headlines. We're here for heart, for the fishermen and the founders, the chefs, the hustlers, the hometown heroes, the people who make this region more than just a postcard. It's voices from the docks, the dirt roads, the dive bars, and the back porches where truth gets told. No filters, no edits, no bull, just raw Southern stories told straight up. This is the real Lowcountry, and these are its people. Lowcountry Unscripted, stories that built the Lowcountry, powered by Coastal Solutions Media. Broadcasting from the Coastal Solutions Media Studios in Hardeeville, South Carolina, here are your hosts, Brian and Gina Pierce.
Hey, Lowcountry, welcome back to Lowcountry's Unscripted, stories that built the Lowcountry. My name is Brian, and if you don't know her by now, you do. Say hello, Gina.
Hey, y'all. We are here and ready for a great guest today.
That's right. Our guest today is Ryan Easterling. He is a community-minded entrepreneur right here in the Lowcountry. Ryan is the publisher of Stroll, part of the N2 family of neighborhood magazines that highlight stories, people, and businesses that make our community unique. He is also the owner of Happy Dad Home Services, a window washing business built on trust, quality, and family values. We're excited to hear his journey from Pittsburgh down here to the Lowcountry. So if you're from Pittsburgh, wave your terrible towel, because he's making an impact both in print and in service. So we want everybody here, the Lowcountry, everybody here at Coastal Solutions Media. Gina, let's go ahead today and welcome Ryan Easterling to the show.
Hey, Ryan.
Thank you guys for having me.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So,
Welcome to our awesome studio.
It is amazing. I'm so impressed.
yeah, look at the paint on the walls.
We
That's
have
what.
to
That's what's
always
the
toot
most. That's
Henry's horn.
That's what's
he's
the most
awesome.
impressive part of it to me is how good of a job he did.
A touch of class.
Yeah.
For reals.
He crushed it in here, and I feel bad because if you can see on the built-ins, I painted those, and I think it maybe drove.
It's tough.
He's calling himself
you
out for that
you
one.
can see the spots right from your spot, like it's all on the built-ins. So
It's
I was
tough.
like, Henry, I'll go get the paint. And he's like, and I never got the paint. I think you would have painted those too, but
It's tough to put your work next to Henry's and expect it to live up.
it's
He's
I
not
told
great.
him we
impressive.
could paint the whole house this color. He's like, how about the outside? I'm like, I would love
There
that.
you go.
But we
Match-
just painted our house not too long ago. I think it was 4 years ago.
If
maybe?
you thought the HOA didn't like the skeleton,
Oh my God.
the black paint.
We've
like-
got one house in here that's black.
Really? All right.
Pretty
Where is
dark.
it? It's down the
End of
street.
end of the street.
I thought that wasn't even like the last color. I thought they were going to do something else to it. Maybe I was wrong.
Maybe they painted the trim.
But they don't have like a list of colors.
Hey, once you
it's
go
good.
black, you can't go back
Yeah.
because when you go black, you know how many paint coats of white you're gonna have to put on there to cover it up. I'm telling
At
you
that
right
point,
now.
I'd be like, oh, we don't own this house anymore. Sorry.
yeah, like if we wanted to paint these walls white again, Henry'd be here for the full day.
Well, they
Can
could
you
just say
believe
that.
these walls were pink? And then this, I mean, I'll be honest, like after he was
Pinkish.
done with the first coat, I
Pinkish.
was like, dude, it looks amazing. He's like, dude, it's the first coat. It's not even covered up yet.
He is definitely a perfectionist, but no, it looks great in here. I was talking to you guys before. I love the signs, the neon signs.
Yeah, they're great. They make a neat,
Oh man.
Addition.
neat lighting atmosphere in here. So, hey, tell us, when did you move here? How long have you been here in the
Coming up
Lowcountry?
on 2 years now here from Pittsburgh.
Big change.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, what made you move?
Honestly, so we have been vacationing here since there's pictures of me as a baby on the beach all the way back to pictures of my mom
Me
as
too.
a kid. Yeah. My,
Hey, did you ever go to Greg Russell?
of course.
Oh,
of course,
money.
dude.
Hey, we're gonna
there's-
have him on the show.
My parents have a video of me. They brought me. I was picked to go up and sing the song.
Me too.
And I did.
How cute.
I did the Cops intro, the bad boys, bad
Yeah.
boys.
Hey, remember when he'd go,
do?
yeah, get that little whippersnapper up here.
No,
And then he'll ask a kid a question, and he'll be like, "Oh, look what he could have won!" And it's like,
he's awesome. He's so much fun.
He's a blast.
We once my older son is 2 now, and it's like we keep trying to catch him to take him over to see Greg Russell, but he goes to bed so early. It's like we need we need a noon Greg Russell show to get.
And
my
I don't
son
know
out
how
there.
much Greg. Is he still?
We'll have to look at his schedule.
yeah.
He's still out there some. I mean, if you look, it's not as often.
I think he did like 4th of July. He did a 4th of July thing. I think he comes at New Year's too. Like
so
around
he
those
used
times.
well, he lives here, but you like
he
when you were
travels.
coming. So he used to do he did the season here, and then he went to Vail, Colorado, to a ski resort. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. He's such a fun guy. I mean, you can just see how like I still have the long necky song stuck in my head all the time.
Oh, is there a booger in the sugar? No, it's
Oh my
not.
gosh.
Dude, we would sing that in the car and drive my parents crazy.
Yeah, he did his job. He locked it in, and it's funny too because I was an only child, so from the back seat they just hear me doing like a duet with myself of going up and down an octave, singing the same song for the 12-hour drive back to Pittsburgh.
I can't wait to have him on the show. I mean,
That'll
I
be
hope
fun.
I got to get a hold of him, but
I'm sure all we have to do is contact like
nobody said no
Somebody.
when we call you out. Like they either call us like rapidly, like okay,
Yeah.
we heard it,
Well,
or one of their friends will tell them.
Greg
probably
Russell,
knows him.
they're calling. Get over here.
Yeah, oh,
Hey.
he's been mentioned, and and
maybe he would sing a song.
and Tanner
That'd be
too. He
funny.
probably would. I can hook
Be
him
like,
up.
hey, we need to sing a song for everybody.
And
Everyone
then-
that was childlike.
And then we got to get Tanner in here.
Shannon Tanner.
Yeah, Shannon Tanner.
Yeah.
So he's the Greg Russell of Shelter Cove.
I remember him too. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's got the little propeller on his head. Yep.
I somewhere in a bin in my garage is my propeller hat. I have it somewhere still, signed and everything.
Oh my gosh.
I could.
That you got at the Shannon Tanner gig.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, we'd been vacationing, here my whole life, and I've always just been in love with the area. And at some point, our first son was born, and we just hit the point where we decided, if we're gonna do it, let's move now before he's in school, before we start to build the. Once he gets his little group of buddies, we're not gonna move him. So
Sure.
we made the jump, and it was funny because we visited family. Who live here in Georgia, or live in Georgia for a Thanksgiving. And, on the way back, we kept talking about it. And so we sat down for dinner one night, and it was like, all right, we're both going to write yes or no on a piece of paper, and that's going to be it. We're either never going to talk about moving again, or if we both say yes, we're packing the car. And we both flipped the paper over. It was both yes, and
Boy, that was a roll of the dice, huh?
we went and got moving, but because I'm like, we're not going to keep talking about it indefinitely. It's like we're either going to make a
Just do it.
decision and go,
Yep.
or we live here forever, And I think the second we landed here, it was like, okay, we're never going back. But
How
So
long
if
have
it
you
was
all
a
been
split decision, were you guys going to
So-
draw straws?
we'd agreed that if either one of us said no, then that held.
That's
like,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was like
they're
we
not
both
going.
had to be 100% committed, and we both were. So
That's a good
Yeah.
communication.
We should
right
make
there.
decisions on the podcast like that. Hey, write it down. It's
yeah,
time-
write it down and flip. That's all we
Yeah.
did.
Like, what does yours say? Oh, that's the one we go with.
Yeah.
So how long have you been married to your wife?
So we're engaged.
Oh, you're engaged. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
We'll just call her your wife
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, I know. Well, it's like it's funny. We have 2 kids. We pretty much call each other
course.
husband and wife at this point. But yeah, we're looking into the wedding at some point here coming up. But we just we keep having life events, and it's like it keeps getting pushed back and
That
pushed
is
back.
true.
And so, but I can't wait. But
Where have you guys looked to have your reception? and stuff?
honestly, all over. We were looking at the rooftop of the Bluffton room because we don't. It's going to be a small gathering. We don't need a ton of space. We were looking at a couple pavilions by the beach. I mean, just something simple.
Absolutely.
But we need something too that is kid friendly, so we can have the kids there and stuff. But we keep joking that we're going to try to get our son to flower boy trained, and he is a sprinter, so it'll be like the fastest
You just
flower
got to have
throwing.
a chaperone that'll like guide him a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to be dragging the chaperone and launching flowers, but
Yeah.
And you have 2.
yeah, 2. So we have Ren, who is 2.5, and Mason, who is 7 months.
So you get no sleep.
No sleep.
Awesome.
But that's okay.
You're
Because they're a
young.
lot of fun. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I have to take that back because Mason sleeps so good.
Nice.
So
Ren doesn't sleep at all.
No, Ren does not sleep at all. He has been wide awake since he was born. I mean, he just is a goer all the time.
He's wide open, huh?
And we when we were having the second baby, it's like we were prepping ourselves for like
Like,
another
never gonna sleep
hectic
again.
baby.
No,
And
there's
like,
always one.
No,
One
and
will
he's
sleep
so
great.
calm. He's just like he's just hangs out. He sleeps when he's tired. He eats when he's hungry. It's like, it's the trick though, that the second baby's easy. It starts to make you think you can have 3 kids. And it's like,
You're
I
like,
am
"Careful."
up at the blackjack table right now. I need to leave the casino, but who knows? Who knows?
But
Yes.
at that point, you're already like, all right, we got one that sleeps, one that doesn't. It's a toss up for the third, whatever.
Yeah.
We're still we don't sleep anyway, so
Might as well.
Might as well
I
just
don't know.
throw your
I
ring
think
in there.
I think if we are gonna have that third kid, it can't be when both are out of diapers though, because I'm not going back to diapers after.
yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
just being the fact that they are pricey.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ooh,
No kidding.
man, that's an investment.
Everyone warns you. Everyone warns you. You know how expensive kids are and everything, and then you go buy that big giant Sam's Club
like,
box of
"Look at
diapers,
this."
and you're like, "What?" I'm literally buying pieces of paper meant to be peed in and thrown away, and
Yeah.
it's.
And one would think it gets cheaper, and it doesn't, because what they're peeing in and throwing away is chump change than what they start eating.
I know. I know.
They'll eat the house
Oh,
down.
my 2-year-old is a tank. He eats everything in sight.
Just wait.
It's awesome. Yeah, I can't even imagine as he gets bigger. I'm like, he eats a ton right now, and
Yeah.
Our son he'll eat a bag of pizza pockets by himself.
Like, I'm like, where did all
Family
the Ritz
size.
crackers go, Jack? He's like, what? I'm like, okay, could you leave like 2 packs maybe for me and Dad? There are never any left. It's fine. Whatever. The crackers.
It's so funny because he is just locked into the word pizza, and it is all
yeah.
the time. I mean, he'll be pointing at the pizza, and I'm like, but there's
that will never go
there's
away.
no pizza in there, pal. And pizza, and it's like, all right,
That'll never go away.
call the Magic Domino's guy.
I
So,
love that.
so the Lowcountry called, and you came probably pretty much around the same story as to why me and my whole family's here. Not just us, like my parents, my brother, they're in Charleston. They were here. They lived 46 in Rosedew Creek.
Yeah, we it's because we were between a few areas. I mean, we like Charleston, Wilmington Beach, but this is just since I've been I've been telling my dad since I was probably 10 years old that I'm moving here someday, and so it finally, it came together.
Yeah,
Can
it
you
wasn't.
believe I never
yeah.
even been to Hilton Head before I came down here?
Really?
Yeah, I had always gone to Myrtle Beach. Brian's like, oh, come down here. And
Well,
I'm like, okay.
You know what? And obviously the vacation spot that we had, the timeshare was on Hilton Head, and I don't think I ever really paid Bluffton that much attention, but
No.
I mean, it is like the perfect residential vacation town that people actually live in and actually make their own and make home. But I think
It's a fun
part
place.
of what I do, I mean, obviously I go around to small business owners, and I think you just meet the people who have had a restaurant here since, it was a tenth of the size,
Oh, when
and-
we moved here, when I moved here, this place did not look like this.
Even when we lived in Bluffton, there was not nearly as much new growth as there is now.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
And you know what? The one thing I've always respected about Bluffton is that with the crazy growth, it's still almost majoritively mom and pop small business. There's so many
We do have
locally
a lot of
owned,
them.
and you see it. I mean, because I think that's what everyone worries about with somewhere like this. The influx of people. All of a sudden, it's all chain restaurants, and the takeover begins. And I think Bluffton is really holding its ground on being small owned, and it just makes it so unique.
Yeah, the expansion that's going on out here in Jasper, and
That's gonna
that's
push
going to
a
be
lot of
driven.
people.
Well, it's going to push a lot of industry in here.
Yeah.
So there will. I don't think it's not going to kill the small guy around here because it's mainly from the port.
Sure.
Import export warehousing, and it's just I think like when they go through Riverport Business Park at Phase 5 is 2.4 million homes
Jeez. Wow.
total. Yeah.
You got to think though, like with the amount of people that are moving here now, like there have to be places for them to eat, places for them to stay.
Places for them to go to Buc-ee's.
Right. Buc-ee's too.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Buc-ee's?
Of course I am. Like, listen, we took for his second birthday. We
Did
took.
you have a birthday party there?
No,
That'd be
I
cool.
wish we took my son to Disney World, right?
Uh-huh.
And on the way, I've discovered my first Buc-ee's, and I
Oh.
was like, "This is my Disney World." I'm like,
That's
"This
so
is
great.
the coolest place of all time." I'm like, I could I'm like, I have to leave here. Either the wallet stays in the car or I have to leave because I'm gonna have Bucky's everything.
Hey, look at
Absolutely.
having a Buc-ee's in your town is like that is some serious street cred.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Bragging rights.
I
Yeah.
know. I mean, not many. I mean, they're going up more and more. But like Brunswick gets one now. Hardeeville.
We may have to do like a mini episode while we go there.
What,
and
when-
just
when
walk
film it?
around.
A mobile episode. Yeah.
We'll be like,
Film it.
hey,
Hey, you know what's coming up too.
yes.
Hey, did you
Have
hear about
heard
that?
about
The
our-
World
our
Oddities
World
Expo.
Oddities Expo that's coming to Savannah?
No,
Yeah.
You should come.
That
We're,
should.
so there's a bunch of us going.
that sounds
Like,
so fun.
I think Joel and Christine are pumped. I think Ron and Beth
are
are
probably
going to come,
go.
and we're going to film over there.
Oh, that's awesome.
They've
Oh,
got like
yeah.
a flea market of like weird stuff.
Oh,
There's you can pay extra money and like take like a taxidermy class, which I find really odd. I think you just paint and stuff,
They dress them up
dress
in
them up
like
stuffed
tuxedos.
animals, but
Oh, that's
I don't want to do that.
They got
but-
they got a sharp tooth beaver there. I'm pretty
No
interested in.
way.
oh my god, he's obsessed
There's a
with
big
that.
open space
There's,
right
like-
here.
I
I don't know.
Listen,
No.
we do. I think we might have to purchase a trinket for just because
It's
it's.
just like some random stuffed animal that I'm like every
If,
time.
listen, if it was a bronze trophy of something, I mean, I don't know. They have some really, really awkward stuff there.
And there's an illusionist. Is that what he is, or a
if
mentalist?
he's still,
Some guy that
I'll
talks.
call him a magician.
Yeah, he's a magician of sorts. But it should be really fun.
They got a sword swallower. I'm sure
I'm
we're
in.
going to see some real freaks.
I'm in.
They got
yeah.
those acrobats that like do the Cirque du Soleil stuff, like with the scarves like hanging from
But
the
these
scarves and
people
stuff.
bring this really strange shit, and it's like a garage. It's almost like a vendor's booth, and they got all these booths,
Yeah.
and and none
what
of
a
it.
flea market
hey,
is.
none of it
Right.
none of it looks like anything. It looks like when you were in 8th grade, and there was that jar up on, and there was some animal in there, but it'd been in there so long,
I'm so
translucent.
excited.
Yeah,
You gotta
it's
go.
pretty. I'm pretty
I'm
pumped
in.
about it.
I'm in. I still remember the monkey in the jar from my biology class that was on the top shelf. It was a sacred item of our school.
Yep.
I think
Well,
everyone
can't
tried
remember,
to
we
get it
had a
down at
cat.
one point.
We had a cat in a jar. I dissected cats and
We did fetal pigs, and I refused to do it.
I dissected
I
cats
was like,
in
I'll
nursing
take the
school.
C. Like
That's
I
fair.
can't do this, and I didn't.
We had some girls that bowed out of that, and they had to take the grade of like a 0 for that
Ooh.
lab when
I
we
think I
dissected
did the
cats.
frog,
Because
and
they're
it
like,
was
I'm not
fine,
dissecting a cat.
but they said it was optional for me to do the pig. And thankfully, I had a boyfriend in the class. He was like, "Listen, I'll just tell you." And then they ended up doing like weird stuff to it.
I did
anyway.
the pig in 4th grade. Yeah.
Yeah, it was gross.
So
Zero
you
interest.
moved your family down here. What were you doing in Pittsburgh? Were you
So I had I was a realtor in Pittsburgh for a few years on a real estate team. We had a small business that rented photo booths to weddings.
Okay.
There as well. Just honestly, it's funny because I always describe my journey through different careers as like my jump from side quest to side quest, right? I
Mhm.
mean, it's just there's been a lot of businesses in the years that I've been in the working world.
Same
but,
here.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's like I always say, just jump where the opportunity is, and luckily I grew up around both my parents were entrepreneurs in some way, and I think it just it geared me in that sight of saying when the opportunity is there, just jump. And
Yeah.
Love that.
so we've had a lot of different businesses all through high school. I did a landscaping company. I mean, just all kinds of different items throughout the years. But
So you moved down here, and it looks like the first thing you did was start Happy Dad Home Services. Tell us a little bit about the backstory behind that. Maybe what was the name behind it, and then tell
Is
us
it
what you
because
do.
you're a happy dad?
I am a
Yeah.
happy dad. Yeah, no, I so when we got down here, I've always loved working with my hands and whether it be building or the landscaping world, any of it, I've always had a draw to that world. And my years as a realtor, I loved it. It was great. I could tell it wasn't going to be forever though. And so I was doing some projects on the side, some light painting, building different things in Pittsburgh. And when we landed here and, I was starting to decide what to do next, it was just a decision I made to jump full time into running my own business and building, Happy Dad Home Services. And, it's funny because we started with, kind of just general handyman work. And window cleaning, and the window cleaning aspect of it kind of took off pretty quickly, and really became the main portion of our business. And that's actually how I found Stroll. I advertised in a Stroll, also here in Bluffton. Yeah, so there's another
Colleton River.
Yes, in Colleton River, and I advertised with them, and I loved it. I mean, you truthfully are seen, as a sponsor, not a solicitor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these, especially in the more tight knit communities, right? I mean, Berkeley Hall, Colleton River, Moss Creek, all the gated communities that it's a little bit harder for businesses to get access to. We with Colleton River, immediately I was getting calls from the residents, and it became more of a relationship with them than, I'm here to do work and then I'm going to leave. I mean, it got to the point where when we were having our second baby, a few of the ladies in Colleton River were, texting me, is he here yet? Is he here yet?
Aww.
And, Alyssa's like, who's texting you? As, she's on the table, and I'm like, don't worry about it. It's my window cleaning people, they just want to know. But no, and I loved it. And, my Stroll journey began just because I asked what other communities these were in, and there weren't any in Bluffton. And when I found out it was a franchise opportunity, I kind of like what I said earlier, when opportunities there, jump. And so I dove into that as well, and I kind of have both rolling right now.
So do you have employees with your Happy Dad?
Yeah. So we do have a few employees. Depending on time of year, it can go all the way up to 5 or 6, and then the rest of the year it can be 1 or 2, depending on where our demand is at. Fortunately, though, and I'm super excited for this, one of my best friends I grew up with in Pittsburgh, Happy Dad Home Services, is moving him here to partner with me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you guys are in the relocation business.
Yeah.
Too,
Apparently
Wow.
now we are. At least once we are.
I love that.
But no, he, it's funny because this conversation with him started, over a year ago, and we grew up together in Pittsburgh, and he has moved to Park City, Utah, and
wow.
I just saw a picture on his Instagram of him, cleaning windows in front of a window cleaning truck, and
You're like,
and I said, hey buddy, I said,
You're telling me, yes,
you interested in the beach, and almost a year later, he just moved back to Pittsburgh, and he will be here next month to partner and run the
cool.
business with me. Yeah,
I
so,
love that.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Adam,
You've
yeah.
shoveled your last bit of snow.
That's right.
From Utah to Pittsburgh. Trust me, if it snows here, you're not shoveling it.
It's
Just
funny.
wait for it to melt.
You say snow. The snow we got this year. My big joke with my dad when we were moving is I had this giant snow shovel that was like, ergonomic for the back. I mean,
Wouldn't fit in the U-Haul.
I gave it to him, and I'm like, I'll never need this again. And then of course it snows. It snows, and I'm like out there. I look like I was,
amateur.
An amateur with the broom out on the thing. I'm like breaking a broom trying to get the snow off of the thing. My dad sent me a picture of it. He's like, "You still don't want this, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Hey, because you're not going to find them around here.
Yeah.
And
we use like a dirt shovel, I think.
It snowed 3 times since I've lived here.
Yeah, and it's not something I'm worried about, but it was just funny
because you just never know. There's no space for it in the garage.
The problem is when it snows here, especially on 46, like when you're going to Bluffton, because when it melts at night, it freezes and it's all black ice. And so like when we lived in Bluffton Park and it snowed, and it's all tree covered, so it doesn't get any sun.
Yeah.
And so that road was closed for a week and a half.
It was just continual. It felt like there was an accident every day because somebody
they
hit
closed it finally. They were like, we just have to close this because you can't see it, and plus it's shaded, so you really can't see it.
Well, that was my first experience with snow down here was that the last one we got this winter.
Oh,
and
in
it's like
January.
And it's like, I'm like, you guys shut down less for a hurricane than you do an inch of snow. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, everything is closed. You can't go anywhere.
It was that weird grapple snow.
Yeah.
So it was.
I've only
dangerous.
evacuated. We've only twice.
Evacuated?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did for Irma and Matthew, right?
Yeah, and now that I have these batteries and the solar panels and stuff, I'm probably not even gonna.
I mean, it's gonna vary depending.
That's what we were.
We can still run the podcast if we have no power.
Yeah, a hurricane episode would be fun.
Like, hey, everybody.
Plug the Wi-Fi into these DJI
as long
batteries.
as the air conditioning works, that's all that matters to
I
me.
can't run the air conditioner.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's too hot in here, I will be.
I mean, I
in
could,
misery.
but things would just die quick.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, when we lost power for 6 days or something this year, and it's like I'm just taking my son to like Home Depot and walking around because it's like the air conditioning in here is
Yes.
heavenly. I mean, we're living off like Ryobi batteries and grilled anything, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's no fun to live down here and not have air conditioning. I don't know how
I
people
wish
do
that,
it.
see, now that he brings it up, I wish that sausage vendor was still alive outside of, I think he
Home
closed
Depot?
down. Yeah, they were
The
so
cart is
good.
still there,
I know, but
but he's not there. But
never
the
opened.
cart
I think
itself
he
is
may
still
have
there.
passed or something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name was.
So you came down here. You've got a growing business in Happy Dad, and then and that's how you got introduced to Stroll. And I think Stroll, Ryan and I have talked about this before. It's probably, in my opinion, and being in marketing, it's print marketing that works. And their concept on print marketing is really successful in the area. Tell them what that's all about.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing to hear when I'm out talking to people is that print is dead. It's kind of the general consensus because yes, a lot of print products have had their day come and go, and it's not the best route anymore. But I think when you get into these, niche communities, and not a lot of people get to be on the cover of a magazine in their life, right? And not a lot of people get to be made to feel as though their story is something special and willing to be heard. And that's something I love about what you guys do. I mean, you have, everyday business owners and people come in and just tell their story as it is. And that's kind of what we aim to do with Stroll, right? Is the residents will send in, their content, and it can be anything from their story, what makes their family unique. They get a pretty wide range of freedom just to talk, tell their story. And, we'll send a photographer out to get their, high quality pictures done and put them on the cover of a magazine. And I think, the cool thing that, especially I see in Colleton River is, we feature, athletes, right? I mean, whether it be a kid in T-ball or a D1, athlete in college, but, whether it be a kids or grandkids, and that kid gets to be in a magazine, take it to school. I mean, show that he's getting, showed off in his community.
Yeah.
And I think it's just something to make the residents and just your everyday, low country person feel a different level of special, right?
So how many how many you come out with 12 issues a year? Is
Yeah,
it
so
once
it's
a month?
Yeah, so it's a monthly publication, and we're all over the country. There's 600 something strolls in print across the U.S. We're in obviously Colleton River here in Bluffton, and then there's 5 or 6 now down in the Savannah area.
Wow.
That is our closest, and then there's a ton in Charleston too. Went over that direction, so there's a good bit local of them here.
And I see, are there available opportunities for
Yeah, there are.
So there's open neighborhoods?
Yes, so there are open neighborhoods.
Are you allowed to say what they are?
So the way that it works is, N2, the parent company that, the franchises run through, has some criteria for a community to fit. Now, not so much home count, because I know that there's Stroll magazines with 200 home communities and 3,000 home communities. So, but more just, and there's different criteria that it has to meet. And, when you originally talk to them, you can send in a couple suggested communities. I wanted to be in Berkeley Hall. I like the community. I think with, got a lot of attention with the HGTV Dream Home being built there this year.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, it was in Berkeley Hall.
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
Yeah, a woman from across the country won. I was putting in an entry every single day. I was
Yeah.
like, please.
You're like, yay.
I'm like, oh.
Usually they go Bill doesn't Pelmantle Bluff. They built a few.
Yeah,
Or
but
Windmill Harbor, I think one year they did.
yeah,
a
it
smart
was.
home.
It's last time I was in there, I drove by. It is just, beautiful. It is all windows. It is, the whole front and back are just, wall to wall windows with, just a beautiful front porch. It's a really cool property
Nice.
that they built there. But yeah, so with Stroll, it's with highlighting the residents and when you can pick your community. They gave me, I think, 5 or 6 communities between Bluffton and the island to choose from. And I just, like I said, I had put in my list of preferred ones Berkeley Hall, and that got approved. So
Oh, that was on the top of your list.
Yeah, that was on the top of my list. Yeah.
Cool.
I like
And then on the island too, they've got some available.
Yeah, they have some on the island, but I feel as though Stroll is much more effective with a community where people are primarily year-round residents. Than on the island, it's hard to find somewhere that people live majority of the year.
Yeah, just like Wexford, Long Cove.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah. So, and I'd rather work here in Bluffton. I mean, I know more people here in Bluffton. I am in Bluffton majority of the time. So,
yeah,
Bluffton's great.
yeah.
We like
it is. Yeah. And so the homeowners submit they submit stories or they submit a piece maybe on gardening or something like that.
Correct.
Are the subjects picked by the residents, or do you have a list of topics?
So we have a list of topics that we can offer to them. I mean, we do we highlight pets, which is a big one. I mean, people can submit pictures of their pet and tell the story of how they adopted it or what have you, and that's one that we get a lot. Travel tales, people can talk about different vacations or trips that they take, and that's where a lot of those are more submit your pictures and we'll give you a few questions to answer on it. But I mean, it is the residents publication, so we get very flexible with it. For example, there's a woman in Berkeley Hall who loves wildlife photography, and she just goes throughout the community and takes pictures of the different wildlife in there. And so we're going to do a feature page for her, which is not necessarily on our list of topics, but it's something that they wanted to add. And then of course the golf club, if they want to highlight anything they have going on, we'll definitely include that as well.
Yeah, I know that. Does Berkeley Hall have waterfront? Do they have anything on the water where you can?
There's a couple that you can get
Like
water
community access or
no,
like
so so there's some private docks in there that I've seen.
Yeah, because I know they've got a little bit of water frontage in there. But
but I know in it's much more common in Colleton River for you to get the the deep water access docks and such off the back.
We lived in Oldfield when we moved here, and it's and they've got a river. Of course, they've got a river house, and it's that's for the community.
Sure.
And they've got a couple dock accesses, which is nice. But I'll tell you this: you have a boat there, and it takes you about 2 hours to get out to the Port Royal Sound. It's a ride. It's a ride.
Yes. You used to.
I used to do that ride quite frequently. Yeah. So to go out to the Betsy Ross takes like 3.5 hours.
Jeez.
It's a long day.
You should consider doing a Stroll Magazine for Riverton Point. I don't know if you could, but you should maybe think about it.
I would love to.
This community. Well,
there's a lot of people here that live here full time now.
997 homes. Yeah.
And they're continually
full-time.
Well, and that's obviously with two businesses that I oversee, it's trying to make decisions for the future. But I mean, there's a lot of communities I'd love to take on with Stroll. And it's funny because I talked to a Berkeley Hall resident not too long ago, and she was saying that they all live in the community and a lot of them don't know each other. And that's why one of my favorite things that we do is put on events where we can get everyone together and whether that be a happy hour or in the community or wherever. I mean, very casual, but just get the neighbors together and let them get to know each other in a little bit better level. And that's too, when they introduce themselves in their article, I mean, you find things out about your neighbors that you never know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's nice to know too, like just who you live near in case something does happen. Like I know of our neighbors and they know of us as well. Because we wave. Everybody waves.
Sure.
I'm sure, any neighborhood you're in, people just wave. But there's been so many new move-ins that now it's like, I feel like I keep seeing the same people and they all have the same dog, but they're all different. And it's weird. It would be nice to put faces with names and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. So this concept works. It works. I don't know who does it in Sun City. But
so it's not a Stroll in Sun City. It's I think Sun City has their own private
publication.
But I mean, it's just the idea, right? I mean, it's a community building tool, right? And I mean, most people who live in communities, unless you have one person or a group that's stepping up and organizing events and getting people together and really getting people to know each other, they don't do it. I mean, yes, there's people that have house parties and such, but you have
to be invited.
Exactly. You have to get to know someone the first time. And that's kind of what we lean into is, I mean, you could meet someone, from the other side of the community in Berkeley Hall who ends up being a great friend for life just because you showed up to the same event, you know,
Yeah.
and you
Yep.
would have never met if even living, you know, walkable from each other's homes.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually in a client's house, and somebody from our network group was there because I said, hey, you know, two heads are better than one here, and he didn't have any cards on him, and so he asked his client, he's like, hey, you got the Sun City magazine? He's like, you know, I'm in there's a page 71 or whatever,
Yeah. Well,
and he's like, thank God you're in this because I'll lose your card. So you know, I mean that there's something to that too.
well, I think from, you know, from my other world, right, with Happy Dad Home Service, when I started getting business in Colleton River through their Stroll, it's like, you know, 5 minutes in the house, I would see it somewhere. You know, the magazine, it would be sitting on a coffee table. It would be, you know, in the kitchen, or, you know, they'd be holding it, telling me that they saw my ad in there, you know.
That's great.
So again, you know, it's a relationship building process, right? I mean, you know, I'm honest with every single person that partners with us. It's not, you could get 20 calls the first issue, you could get none. It's more about the exposure into the community
Mm-hmm.
and getting to know these residents on a personal basis to the point where, you know, whatever business someone's in it, you stay top of mind with them, and, you know, again, are part of a building community there that Stroll aims to build.
Yeah. So how are you balancing being a publisher, a hands-on service provider, a father of two? How's that going for you? How's it?
I don't know.
He's like,
It's great. I mean, I think that, you know, Alyssa, my fiance, she always jokes with me that I thrive in chaos, right? And she likes the calm, quiet, you know, world.
It's the same here.
And
Yep.
you know, that's kind of our go-to balance. But I've just always lived life this way, where I like to have multiple things going on, and I think that, you know, one thing I've really tried to focus on in the last couple, you know, years is delegation, and, you know, putting people in the right place to succeed, and take something off my plate and run with it in a way that I maybe wouldn't even have thought of. And I think it's hard for everyone to let go of the reins sometimes and let people have, you know, a little more leash to go out and work on their own. But I think once you kind of master that and figure out proper delegation, I mean, that's the only way to scale, you know, anything, is you have to have other players in place, and focus on where anyone's time is best spent.
Yeah. So if you could share one piece of advice from your younger self to, you know, from when you started all of this, what's that one piece of advice you would give yourself?
That I would give to my younger self.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it in a couple. I think I have a couple part answers. We could have a whole conversation, me and my younger self, and figure some stuff out a little
Yeah.
bit
Listen
earlier.
here, sir.
A little bit earlier.
People want to learn about your mistakes, so they don't maybe make them.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
We've made a lot.
Yeah, and you know, number one would be just seeing my son at 2 and realizing that it's already been 2.5 years. It would be prioritize the time with
For
him and my other, you know, with both our kids, and you know, obviously, I strive for something in life that comes with entrepreneurship and getting to a certain point. But I think that my perspective switched when I had kids, and it went from being about the flashy stuff and, you know, wanting the house, the car, or whatever, to now it's about, you know, what kind of life can I build for them. And so I think just trying to give my younger self some perspective on it and say, you know, this isn't all about you. You know, it used to be the Ryan show for me, and it was, you know, I wanted to do all these big things for who knows what. But now it's, you know, about building whatever best version of life it can be for those two. And I think the other big piece of advice I'd give younger me is, like I was saying, let go of the reins a little bit earlier. I think that there's a lot more that can get done when you put some trust in other people and delegate well. And that's something I've struggled
And
with.
take some chances.
Yeah, and take some chances. You know, that's
Yeah.
what I've, you know, I've always been pretty comfortable with risk. And, you know, I've gone from landscaper to house flipper to real estate agent to, you know, we had an entertainment company. We've been all over the place. And it's funny because a lot of people, you know, say when you have kids, you kind of lean more into the safer option. And I think for me, my kids were almost a little bit more of a push to take those bigger risks because I want to create something for that,
A legacy.
a legacy to
Yeah.
leave behind with them. And, I think when they hit, working age out of high school and everything, my ultimate goal is to just have options for them. If you want to join the family business, great. If you want to go to college, great. If you want to go off and start your own business, I love it. Here's your backing. I want to be able to be that person for them and set them up for life in the best way that I can. And so I think that's my push to take risks is just to create something that I just want them to have. It's such a switch with kids, man. I can't even explain it.
There's so much of that going on around here in the Lowcountry too. Like, I can't name a person that's not doing it. I mean, that's what Ron and Beth are doing. That's what Doug and Kate are doing. And a lot of the people in our B&I group trying to creating a legacy for your younger children.
Yeah. It's funny because, everyone tells you the effect having kids has on you. And, you're like, I've had a dog. I know how to love something. I'm fine.
The love factor is not the thing.
I know what it is. And then it's like you have them and it's like, all right, they were right. I had no idea what this was all about. And it's just such a switch in life. And, we're happy because we had kids, fairly young, in our 20s. And I mean, we just always do the math and it's like, oh, when they're, we'll only be 50 when they're this age,
And how old are you now?
27.
Oh, he's baby. You're my age of
I could be
when
his father.
I had my son.
Yeah.
I was 26 when I had Jack.
Yeah.
And I was in comparison to a lot of people it's a different mentality down in the South. Like 26 is old for us having kids, but a lot of people have kids right out of high school, like in that college age, like that's like the factor. And I was like 26. Oh my God. Looking back, I'm like,
yeah,
like,
let
I
me
feel
tell
you,
you,
buddy.
but
Trust
you're in
me.
a good spot. You're making some good decisions.
You are,
that young
for
on.
sure.
I can say the only advice I can give you is it would be invest in your 401k in your future early.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I did not. And and I'm paying the price because now I got to catch up.
And it's funny because, I've always been the type that it's, when money comes in to a business, I like to put that money back into the business. And I think
Smart.
taking a step back and reminding ourselves that, okay, we still need to retire one day. It's like you can scale something as far as you want, but you still need to retire one day and put some safety measures in place and all that. So
I bet that your boys are probably going to want to start working with you a lot younger than you probably think.
I can't wait. I could use the help. I keep joking. I keep joking with Ren, our 2-year-old. It's like, okay, how much taller does he have to get to reach windows? Because we'll get him out there. He'd love it. But
So
be
you
like, "Here's
get
the
about
bag."
you get about well, let's see, you say this. The state board of labor will kill me, but you get about 4 years of free work out of them before you feel bad enough to where you're like, all right, I'll pay you $5 a window.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's a little cash. But
Here's your allowance.
You start off with 10 cents a window.
yeah, exactly.
They'll
You
love that.
work from there. So do you do the outside and inside?
Yeah,
or?
so we do.
Oh, cool.
So with Happy Dad, we'll do interior, exterior windows. We just added junk removal too, which you don't know where the demand is on something until you start reaching out for
No
it.
kidding. Yeah, I know.
And it is huge. I mean, there's a good bit of junk removal people here, locally, and
There's a lot of large communities with a lot of elderly people
exactly,
that can't move
and
their
it's
stuff.
funny. That's what it is. It's just people who just need to get rid of something and they cannot lift it.
They don't have a
And so-
truck or they
yeah,
can't lift
and that's
it.
where so we just added junk removal. We'll still do some handyman stuff, here and there, depending on with some existing clients when they request. But a lot of that we refer out at this point because we're just we're so busy with between windows, junk removal, and some add-on services like gutter cleans. We'll add in pressure and soft washing. We partner with No BS. To
do you?
do.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
we both offer the service. So he'll put out that he does window cleaning, and I put out that I do pressure and soft washing. But if we get booked for it, we just
You guys-
we just have a partnership on it. And
That's cool.
great.
Did,
Yeah,
that
'cause
just,
it
did you
usually-
guys just form that?
yeah, we
Nice.
just. Well, it was funny because me and him sat down, and he was saying, I was really considering adding window cleaning, and I was like, I was really considering adding pressure wash and soft wash because we both get asked about it so much. And we were both losing some business because we didn't offer the complimentary service. So we've partnered up, and that's been big for us too.
Fabulous. Well, we like both, and at some point, I'm sure we're probably gonna give y'all a call.
Window washing is
Not our
a
favorite thing to do.
That's got to be that's a challenge because you've got the pollen that falls, the rain, and then the sun that bakes it on the window.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's funny because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when I get in there, and
It is
That's
miserable
good.
to get
and
off.
it's it can be a mission, but it's satisfying at the end. You know, the before and after pictures always look good because it's you get all that built on junk off.
Oh, I'm sure, especially in those houses like Cullerton River, they've got nothing but windows.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ooh.
And it's funny because when I started it down here, and I have the picture of it that I look at every once in a while. It's my old beat up Mitsubishi SUV with a ladder strapped to the top and pool noodles under it so it doesn't scratch the top of the car. And I was just out doing window cleanings, and it's like, it's funny how far things can progress in such
Now
a
you
short
got
time.
trucks and trailers.
Yeah, trucks, trailers. We got a couple
Moving a
different
guy
setups.
from Park City.
Yeah, we're moving a guy cross
Yeah,
country to come work with us. I
That's
mean, it's
so
just
cool.
funny because it's like I pull up that picture all the time, and it's just, but the windows didn't even work in that car. So I'd get to like the Colleton River gate, I'd have to open the door and tell them who I was to get in.
and
it's
you're
just-
already sweating
I know,
bullets
I know.
before
I'm
you
like,
start
that's
the job.
exactly it. Yeah, I'm like trying to up a ladder. It's taking me 10 minutes to set a ladder to get up to the top window, and then moving on to the next one. But no, it's been such a ride to watch this company just evolve, and especially with Stroll playing hand in hand with it. It's just been it's been a fun fun ride for the last couple of years. Just the evolution.
What do you think makes it so unique to come down here and start a small business here in the Lowcountry? Because I think, listen, our group that I mean, I have a digital marketing company, and I have not marketed my own company not for one day.
Yeah.
Because of how great our network is and our community is at supporting small businesses.
Well, I think, and I kind of attribute a little bit of that to Bluffton, right? Because I think that the residents here in Bluffton have a support small business mindset, and it's just been great. I mean, between the group that we're in and the just the pride that everybody takes in giving each other referrals. I mean, it's funny because you hear people, talk each week about referrals that they gave, and then, thank you for closed business that they got. Everyone is more excited about the referrals that they gave out. It's just you can sense it in that group that they like to see each other succeed. And I think,
And the one-to-ones.
Yeah,
People
the
are all
one-to-ones. I mean,
we have tons of one-to-ones.
I
Crazy.
I learned so much about, it may not even be the person's industry, but just about the area, about, something unique about what they do in their business. And, again, it just so many doors open just from having those conversations that you would have never even considered. I mean, things, even with, Synovus and Norm, it's like a quick conversation with him opened a huge door for our business, and, things you wouldn't even have imagined beforehand. And it's really powerful. And
I can say 95% of my one-to-ones end up in business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I mean, you and I are in the same industry, so it's like we our two industries, and I don't conflict with each other, but they don't have anything to do with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're printing for a community, solely for a community, and I'm, contact me to go and social, digitally put your face out there and try to brainwash people into watching your movies.
Yeah, no,
We're like, please watch.
no, but it is. I mean, it's just the group all together just meshes so well, and I mean, everyone in there really tries to build some sort of unique relationship where there's a route to give each other business, and I think that is just so powerful. But for me, I mean, starting a small business here, it was funny because I didn't know what to expect. Right, I'm used to living in the north, and it's
People aren't quite as welcoming.
people aren't quite as welcoming,
No.
and it's a
Yep.
it's a little bit more of a harsh environment, and it's like here, I remember my very first window cleaning that I did here. It was over in Guyton, Georgia, right? That's just where the lead came from. I went over there, and I mean, it's this sweet, sweet lady, and obviously I'm nervous. It's my first go around. I'm like, I got to act like I've been here before. And I show up, and, it's like do you want some sweet tea? It's hot out here. You know, what can I get you? You want a water? Why don't you come in the AC for a minute?
You want to get in the pool when you're done?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, this is the nicest experience of all
Yeah.
time. I'm
Yeah.
like, I love this here, and it's just universally, a lot of the people are just, and it's fun to see because you talk to someone, whether I'm out doing a quote or out doing the job, or I'm setting up for with my guys to be there to work the job. It's like, when you talk to them and they ask you, are you the owner of the company? Yeah, I'm the owner. It's like there's an excitement with them too to be supporting small business and to be, involved with someone who is, on the up and coming. And it's a very cool mindset here that supports, smaller businesses. I love it here.
Yeah, and it takes a personality because you've got to be a great person to be successful in business around here. I mean, if you're just a guy from the north that thinks you're going to come down here and be like, "Hey, I'm moving here, get out of the way," it doesn't happen like that. I mean, you got to come down here, and it's if you fit the mold, and those people just treat you with such. It's so great to think about because even I've been through a variety of industries here. From transportation and shipping to being in law enforcement and a paramedic, and pretty much across the board, I can say that the people are just wonderful.
Yeah, and it's everyone treats you like they've met you before, and that's just the coolest testament to this area and the South in general. It's just, first time meeting someone, it's always a welcome into their home, and the little mini tour around, and the talking about where they came from and asking you personal questions. And I mean, not to mention, as soon as you tell them that you have kids, it's like, oh, let me see the pictures and how old are they and all that, and I mean, the thing that was so surprising for me is how much, a conversation with just a resident that called you out to do a job for them remembers and cares about the conversation that you have. I mean, I'll come back 6 months later and they'll ask me, by name, how my kids are doing and, how old are they now? And it's just so cool when you can build real relationships like that, because from a business standpoint, I mean, that's going to be an existing relationship for the foreseeable future. And that's something that you don't get as much in other areas. I mean, even as a realtor in Pittsburgh, I mean, that is a relationship built business. You're working with people for long, extended periods of time. And, I met some great friends and stuff, but the overall, it just wasn't the same overall feeling as it is here.
Yeah, it's different.
It's a transaction there, where here everything is built on relationships here, and if you try to do things transactionally, you're not going to get very far, because people want that personal touch.
I found that you can be successful around here. So there's a few things. If you're respectful, you can stand behind your product. And I just forgot the third one. Holy shoot. It was showing up when it matters most. The problem with a lot of service people around here is they'll schedule something, and nobody shows up.
And it's funny because I attribute that to a lot of the growth that we've had. It's just calling back and showing up when you're scheduled, which seems like that seems like step 1 and 2 of what should be a 100-step list. And if you do those two well, you can make it pretty far in this area. Because, I'll go to quote a job, and that they will literally say I'm the third person there that has quoted, approved, scheduled, and just not shown up.
No, they don't show up.
And it's unbelievable to me, because it's, especially from a business standpoint, you work that hard to get to the point where you actually get the work,
and then you let them down.
Yeah,
I've had it happen twice to me in the last 2 months.
It's crazy. And I mean, it's in every industry. And I think, part of the power of the group that we're in is knowing, when you give a referral out, that person is going to,
Show up.
amplify how good you look, because they're going to run their business at the same level or higher that you do. Is huge. I mean, honestly, we have clients through Happy Dad who call us for everything now, just because, not that we're going to do it, but because they know that we have a referral out, and all I have to say is 2 seconds. Let me grab my list, and I have someone for almost everything for them. And it's that, I think, for all of us, elevates each of our businesses to a really high level when you're known as the guy that not only does good work, but can connect you with anything you need.
You've got a guy.
Yeah, and you'll
Got a
find
guy.
too. Yeah, Shelly, I've got a guy, Elliot. That's what he's
No
called,
kidding.
yeah.
No, if I think I have a guy for a lot, Shelly has a guy
For everything.
Shelley's got a
everything. Yeah,
guy.
you could,
Yeah.
Carol's got a guy.
Look, if you ask Shelly, do you have somebody who can help me with X? And she's like, I really don't. I mean, it doesn't happen frequently.
yeah, you'd have to be a pretty obscure industry to.
And the other thing is they're quality people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I got in this group. My mother, they were clients of Shelly's, and they've sold my mom and dad's house twice over. Not from them, but that's the one that's
Yeah.
on Shelly's webpage. And so they became good friends, and then that's how I got. We had a tornado hit the house.
Jeez.
And my mom's like, this is my second one. And so it was our son, he's trees laying on the house. I said, listen, we were in the pantry, and I said, it's not going to look the same when we walk out here. And so it was more or less just trying to keep everything together. My mom's like, I got somebody I'm going to call that's going to take care of everything.
Yeah.
And she did. She called me, and all she said was, can they show up at 8 o'clock tomorrow? And I said, sure. She said, all right, thanks, bye. And that was it. And then
Yeah.
they showed up. They fired a chainsaw at like 7:30, right outside my
That's
bedroom
awesome.
window. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But everything was cleaned up. Trees were off the house. Doug had been out. They
Yeah.
patched the roof. Yeah, everything
Well-
was back in order, sort of, and aside from the rebuild.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because, when I had first visited a BNI as a guest spot, Ron connected me with Shelly, and me and Shelly sat down to talk about Stroll, right? Not to talk about BNI, but to talk about her possibility of wanting to be involved with Stroll Berkeley Hall, and half the conversation, it wasn't even a push for me to join. It was just her telling me how she had a person for everything, and the power of that group that she's in. And by the end of that conversation, I was like, where's the line that I sign on? How do I join this
Yeah,
thing?
you're going to
Sold.
find out that
It
we're
was
like,
just-
we're family.
Yeah, oh, it was just
Yeah.
so cool. And I mean, just in general, moving here from Pittsburgh, we've started to amount some friends, some relationships in the area, but we have 2 kids. We don't exactly go out all the time anymore. And, we've met some other families and stuff, but truthfully, I mean, like BNI, as much as it is a benefit to my business, I mean, just the social aspect of it. I've met so many great people through that group, and, friends of friends or what have you. And it's really added a layer of feeling like a part of the community.
I
for
mean,
me.
they treat you like family. I mean,
Yeah.
look how everybody opened the door
Exactly.
for Gina. I mean, she comes in there and
I'm the
just
honorary member. Like, hey, everybody.
yeah, she doesn't own a business, but I'm like, well, you can go up there and give my 60 seconds.
I usually talk about the podcast.
I run out of stuff to talk about during
I
the
know.
60 seconds when people stand up and give my 60 seconds
Yeah.
for me. That's
Well, it's, and it's funny because it's like, haven't been a part of the group for a super long time. It's been probably 6 months now or something. And I mean, it's all the way to the point where, me and Cassandra were talking about I was having a frustrating week with the businesses and the kids and everything. And she's like, I can come watch the kids. When do you need it? And it's like,
Yeah,
that's the kind of
Cassandra's great.
that's the kind of
She's great.
relationships you build in there.
Mhm.
It's just like the offer is always there, of help when needed. And, I think just watching the group too, with some life events that have gone on with different members and how quickly everyone is, what can we do for them and how can we actually
and they
help?
rebound,
And I
step right
think
back
that
up.
is just, it's a really impactful thing to be a part of. And it just, like I said, it just makes me feel like I have such a sense of community here. And, I'm an early morning guy no matter what, but it's funny. Alyssa's always telling me, she's like, you're always excited for Wednesdays. I'm like, I love Wednesdays. I'm
Hey,
like,
me too.
I
It's the
love
best day of the week
Wednesdays.
for
Yeah,
me.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes my whole
Yeah.
week to go sit down and chat with everybody.
it does and I get so I wouldn't say depressed. There's a large amount of disappointment in me when we take
You're going
off
to
a
have
week,
Labor
like next
Day
week for Labor
Yeah,
Day.
next
Yeah,
week.
I'm like, come on. I'm like,
I'm ready to go every
Yeah.
single Wednesday. I'm ready.
It's true.
Can you
Am I
believe
allowed
that?
to go
Can you
next week
can
or
you bel-
tomorrow?
Yeah, why not?
Because I don't know if because I can't.
You can't
technically
sub.
I can't sub for anybody.
No.
And I guess I can still be a visitor. They don't mind as because it's me.
yeah.
That's right.
Just because it's like
I think you
Gina's
have-
here again.
I think you have honorary status. I
Like,
think
everybody.
you're welcome to be in there.
Well, I do
Yeah.
talk to everybody and just, I try to boost everybody. I want to hear Carol's 10-minute thing too. I think that's tomorrow,
Oh yeah,
right?
she was here yesterday. We helping her. Yeah, so Carol Mullen from Mullen Care Consultants. She's gonna go ahead and put it.
Oh.
We're gonna see her 10 minutes. That woman's amazing.
Yeah, she's in an industry that is just unbelievable
She's
to live
got
in that every
9,
day.
or what was it?
9 children.
9
between
kids
her
and
Bill.
20 grandkids.
I'm like, man, imagine those Christmases.
Yeah,
She
no
goes, no
kidding.
Christmas, just Thanksgiving.
It's hard to
I'm
fit
like,
everybody.
okay.
It's hard to fit everybody in a frame for
Yeah,
a
no
picture.
kidding.
Ooh, that's a
Man.
lot.
Yeah, so
But you're welcome to bring your family here anytime. I will take those children.
this
I
is
love
like
kids.
this is like a circus party here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we love it. We're gonna have a Halloween party. We're gonna dress up.
I might have
tell your girl.
people come into the studio and interview them on Halloween.
Oh,
we'll
no
see.
way.
Costume.
We'll have our costumes ready.
Yes,
we'll be
do it.
here.
Do
Because
it.
these hours go by quick, huh?
I got
Yeah,
a
no
spare room.
kidding.
If the kids fall asleep, we can put them in the spare bedroom. It's all
Yeah, our son is so good with kids.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've seen Cassandra's
Pied
kids are
Piper.
really shy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're over
Right
here.
to
They're
'em?
swinging off the ceiling fans.
Yep.
You know?
Aiden came with Ron and Beth one day, and Aiden just like
Instant best
disappeared.
friends.
We're like, he's fine. He's with Jack. He's fine.
Jeez.
He's 17, but
He's the
going
Pied
on
Piper.
7. Seriously,
He's the Pied
yeah.
Piper.
That's
He's got
awesome.
Legos
Yeah.
and cars and all sorts of stuff.
That's awesome.
Like he'll keep playing volleyball now, but he'd come home and put together a 2-year-old Lego set.
Yeah,
and be
geez.
just as happy, I think.
I don't
Yeah.
blame him. I would put together a 2-year-old's Lego set.
Yeah.
Like 4 pieces. Here it is.
I'm always at the store when Ren's looking for toys. I'm like, how about that one right there? I'm like, that looks
one's
fun,
cool.
buddy. We can work on that together.
He can
Yeah.
whip those sets that are like for adults. He does those within like an hour to 2 hours. He
Jeez.
just sits there and just brrr, and it's done.
Yeah. So, and hey, I got to tell you, Lowcountry, I've got something I got to tease on you. So, we're gonna have a podcast coming up, and probably here it'll be in the next month. But we're gonna have Annie Davis on the podcast, and we'll just let you know she is the front woman for Trashy Annie, and she is also a cast member on season 49 of Survivor. So get ready for that. And Lowcountry, like you know it, keep dreaming, keep building, keep writing your story like this guy right here in front of us.
Yes,
and
sir.
and with that, we'll see you all next time. So with that, Lowcountry, have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.